Welcome back to the Rise with Anita podcast, or welcome if you're new here. I am trusting that if you're just hearing me for the first time, that you are in the right place. So, today's episode is going to be a space for women who are no longer willing to rush their becoming, who are listening to their bodies instead of overriding them, who know deep down that something is shifting, even if they can't quite name it yet. So today's episode is actually for the woman who feels like she's standing in the doorway of her next chapter. Not who she used to be, and not yet who she's becoming, or technically remembering. So she's just here, she's present. But before we go any further, let's go ahead and arrive together. I've been doing a new thing on the podcast lately where I start each episode by inviting you to take a breath with me. Inhale gently through your nose. Hold for 2 and exhale for 4. Let your shoulders soften. Allow your jaw to unclench. Let your body know it doesn't have to figure anything else out right now. One more breath in. Hold for 2. And allow yourself to take a long, slow exhale out. There is a season of growth that often doesn't get celebrated, because it doesn't look impressive on the outside. And it's what we call the in-between. It's the place where your old identity doesn't quite fit, but the new one hasn't fully settled in yet to be your norm, and where the patterns that were once keeping you safe actually feel heavy for you. And the next way of being hasn't fully became natural. So this season can look kind of quiet. It can feel lonely. It can feel tender, a little bit unsteady. And you might feel slower than you are used to, a little less certain, a little less driven. And we're in a world that is constantly praising clarity, momentum, the next step. And the in-between can feel like something has gone wrong. And it hasn't. So the in-between space is not actually a problem you need to solve. It's actually a threshold. It's kind of what I look at as a holy pause between who you were and who you're becoming. And your nervous system is in that process of reorganizing, recalibrating. Your body is releasing what it no longer needs to carry. And your identity is loosening so something truer can take shape. And when we talk about body release, I want to just hit a point home. I have been actually quite a couple of seasons in the last year or so where my body would hold on and grip and grip and grip as I was in this transformative state. And when you start to notice the release, your nervous system can kind of feel frazzled. This is new. What am I supposed to do here? And something I keep reminding myself and having to go back to is just owning and listening to my body. What about this feels unsafe? Where am I feeling the tightening? Where am I feeling the resistance? Where am I feeling the anxiety come through? And a lot of times it's linked to this in-between state. So, I just want to remind you, this isn't meaning that you're in a stagnation period. It's actually where integration really begins. especially when you start to invite your body into the process. When you rush into the space, you don't move forward, you actually circle back, because your old patterns will always find a way to grip you back to where you were. But when you allow it to start to take different and deeper roots, you start to be in a place where you're no longer performing your life. You're no longer wearing the mask. You're allowing it to inhabit who you are becoming. So if you feel a little slower right now, I really want you to hear this. Slowness is not a loss of power. It's actually a return to choice. I'm going to run that one back for you. Slowness is not a loss of power, but it is a return to choice. Speed was once how you survived. Urgency was how you stayed ahead of the pain, stayed ahead of what was coming up for you. But now your body is starting to choose discernment. And discernment doesn't shout, it whispers. This is a season where the body becomes your compass. It's not about the productivity or your timelines or other people's expectations of you. It's about you coming home to yourself. So if you're not driving and you're willing and able, place one hand on your chest, the other hand on your belly, and just find the steadiness of your breath. Observe the steadiness of your breath and allow yourself to feel the support beneath you. If you're sitting, that might be under having the chair under you, or if you're standing, the ground under you. And just take a moment to observe your breath and gently ask, not from your mind, but from your body, what am I no longer available for? You don't always need the words, and you don't need an immediate answer sometimes. I want you to pay attention to what softens or tightens, and that in between is where boundaries are starting to be born quietly, without force, without over-explanation. If you felt the urge to rush into the next thing just to feel anchored again, that makes sense. We live in a society that is all about the chase and the hustle and the grind. But the space isn't empty. It's actually liminal. It's where the old versions of you dissolve. It's where your voice starts to deepen. It's where embodied leadership actually takes root. And you don't need to define yourself just yet. You need to come home to yourself. Come home to your values. And you don't need to justify the season or period to anyone else. Being here, being present, listening, breathing, staying in the discomfort, staying in the moment is enough. So before we close, I'm going to invite you to take one more breath with me. Inhale, hold for 2, and exhale slowly. And if you are in the bit in between, let me remind you, you're not lost, you're not late, and you're not failing. You are transitioning, and transitions not only ask for certainty, but they do ask for permission and presence as well. Permission from yourself, just to clarify. So if this episode met you gently, please share it with a woman who might be standing at her own threshold. And if you feel called, leaving a review helps women find this work and reach more women who need permission to slow down and trust their becoming and trust their process. So thank you for being here with me today. Thank you for honoring your pause, and thank you for letting the season shape you softly. I'll meet you in the next episode. Until then, take a breath and take care of yourself.